What is that?
Okay, so looking at my video catalog on YouTube shows that I'm a relatively positive guy, a pleasant old chap, but every once in a while, I just want to be a little dirtbag and complain a little. And damn. But let's just start from the beginning real quick, shall we? FLCL was an anime created in the year 2000, the same year I was born in, just to make you older weebs feel a little closer to death's door. And it was created by talented Gainax and Production IG. You know, the same people behind... But FLCL is a lot different than that living hellscape, and intentionally so. From the director of the anime himself, Kazuya Tsurumaki, he explained that, with Evangelion, there was this feeling that you had better be smart to understand it, or even just to work on it. With FLCL, I want to say that it's okay to feel stupid. This quote, alongside the fact that Tsurumaki had the animators trained to be as stylized as possible, all while also throwing in obscure anime subculture jokes and references, it doesn't take a genius to see that Tsurumaki intended on making FLCL a show that was completely outrageous and wacky to its core. And personally for me, I 100% feel he achieved that. When watching this show for the first time as a teenager making his way through life, the show's funny and crazy energy mixed with the theme of growing up, alongside some of my favorite stylized animation I've seen in any anime ever, the show really touched my heart and not only introduced me to my favorite band of all time, but inspired my passion to continue with animation. All these elements combined created a lightning in a bottle type show that doesn't feel like it could be replicated again. But they tried. And then they tried again. And then again. There's 4 fucking sequels to the show. The original FLCL was only 6 episodes long, for a total runtime of about 2 hours. It managed to tell its crazy wacky story and then left us riding into the sunset on a Vespa. What made FLCL really special, of course, were the people working on the show. Studio Gainax and Production IG, with people like Hideaki Anno doing key animation. Recognize his name? It's the same guy that brought us... And because of the massive success of... Gainax now had more money than they knew what to do with. This in part led to the creation of FLCL, but it also led to many different poor financial decisions for the studio over the years. Regardless, point being is that the original FLCL was made by an absolute powerhouse with a lot of creative freedom. However, a few years later in 2006, Hideaki Anno left the Gainax studio to open up a new studio called Kara, and brought over a bunch of the talent that made shows like FLCL possible, including Kazuya Tsurumaki himself. Then, fast forward a few years later and Gainax were now begging Kara for a loan or they might go under. Anno agreed to this to help out an old friend still in charge of the studio, Hiroyuki Yamaga, but on the condition that they would receive the rights for shows like FLCL, but also Gunbuster and Diebuster. At first, Yamaga happily agreed to this. But then out of nowhere, right before the purchase of the rights were almost finalized, they upped the asking price over 6 times what was initially agreed upon. Plans fell through without any satisfactory answers as for why this happened, but Anno soon found out that Gainax had been selling off the IPs that they had worked their blood, sweat, and tears into to other companies behind their back. In the end, the rights that should have gone to Kara had now instead gone to Production IG. Besides selling IPs behind their back, Gainax didn't even pay back the loan that Anno had generously given them, and now Anno was completely left in the dark about what was going on at Gainax, with Yamaga not returning any calls. And now fast forward a few years later and lo and behold, sequels to this nearly 2-decade-old OVA were now getting sequels. Funny how that works. Enjoy your little history lesson there? So all of that at least explains why there are even sequels to FLCL in the first place, and why the people that made FLCL what it was to begin with aren't working on the project anymore. But hey, you know what? Enough of that. Maybe I'm being way too harsh. Even if it's different people working on the show now, there's still a chance that the same magic can be recreated, right?
Not to worry. Lots more where that came from!
So at this current moment, there are actually 4 sequels to FLCL. The first 2 being Progressive and Alternative, that aired back in 2018 on Toonami, Adult Swim. And the reception to them were... very mediocre. A lot of the fun energy and spontaneousness of the original was very much lost in these newest seasons, going from what was a visually unique looking show to now looking like any of your standard random seasonal anime. And it isn't just the looks either. A lot of the fun and unique animation just aren't really present at all within the sequels. doesn't remotely feel like Fooly Cooly, save the fact that Haruko shows up sometimes and says, "Kitty kitty meow." Any visual identity that the original show had now was completely muddied or lost in the sequels. And okay, I'll try not to be too overtly negative, so let me look at some of the positives. There was some animation that looked decent, and out of the 2 sequels I sort of enjoyed Alternative, and at least liked the main protagonist of that one. But these aren't really the highest of praises, I guess, compared to what the original show would invoke in me. At the end of the day, Progressive and Alternative were rather forgetful sequels that only served to tarnish the name of Fooly Cooly. So, it's a good thing they left the show after that and never made any more sequels.
Not to worry. Lots more with that game, bro!
Okay, sorry that I keep showing you that, because while I could still find some positives in Progressive and Alternative and try to enjoy them a little bit for what they were, the newest sequel... shit, it's actually not even the newest one anymore. One of the newest sequels, FLCL Grunge, is just terrible. I complained a little bit earlier about how Progressive and Alternative didn't have a visual identity compared to the original, so I'll have to give at least some props to Grunge for trying to create a new visual identity for itself. It's just too bad that it didn't work out at all. Compared to the 3 seasons previous that all had 6 episodes each to tell their story, Grunge had only half of that. I wasn't really confident a decent story could be told in a Fooly Cooly sequel to begin with, but doing it with half the amount of time didn't really invoke any confidence in me. And okay, you're a weeb, right? We all are. And I know that a lot of us aren't the biggest fans of CGI, but shows that don't have just elements of CGI and go fully CGI can be good. A quick look at Studio Orange with Trigun Stampede and Beastars can show anyone that good CGI anime can not only exist, they can absolutely blow us away. So, what is this? By no means am I trying to crap all over the animators that are working on the show. I'm an animator myself. I very much know how hard it is. But, damn, this just does not look that great. I'm just not sure who the hell this sequel is really meant for. I saw this quote floating around of a Kotaku writer, because of course it was, saying that the first episode of Grunge had a compelling hook because it aimed to answer long-time series questions like, who the hell is Haruko Harahara? And why is she desperately searching for the equally mysterious robot, Atomisk? You know what though, for a series like Fooly Cooly, those are some pretty important questions. You know what, I've also had some really burning questions for other series too, like, who is Wile E. Coyote? And why is he constantly after the elusive and hard to capture Roadrunner? I'm just saying these are very important questions that most definitely need to be answered. Clunky 3D animation, a few too many scenes that try to reference the original but fall flat, characters that just aren't remotely interesting, and with barely any story, FLCL Grunge was everything the original wasn't. And I'm certainly not the only one that thinks this. But okay, once again, happy Snail Pirate, I'm a happy boy, I like talking about what makes me happy. So let's venture into the deep and try to find something that I actually liked about Grunge. Well, for starters, they brought back the pillows, and their music will always be my favorite. Although it feels like they just threw the music in all willy-nilly without really any regard for how it could enhance a scene. No, okay, stop. Happy Snail Pirate. What else is there? Well, they continue to bring back Carrie Walgren as the voice of Haruko, which is great. She does an absolutely fantastic job at her voiceover, and I couldn't imagine anyone else voicing her. I mean, look at this scene.
You are so creepy, I'm literally screaming right now! If there was a Guinness record for creepy, you would hold it! So go on with your Me Too jokes and egotistical lame-splaining. That just proves you're one of the lunatic cringe! This part doesn't make sense when we translate it, so just forget it!
I am trying with all of my being to give you something, please! Is this what it feels like, Star Wars fans? To see something that you loved turned into whatever this is? And we're not done, because after Grunge had finished airing, we have now gotten another season of Fooly Cooly titled FLCL Shoegaze. Who's coming up with these titles? But you know what? After watching the first episode of the newest Fooly Cooly, it isn't as terrible as Grunge. In fact, there are some things I sort of like about it. For one, the return back to 2D. Please don't try CGI again. And the cast of characters at the moment are at least somewhat fun and compelling. There's also a few scenes that are also genuinely well animated, but at the end of it all, can this still really be called Fooly Cooly? I don't know how you all feel, but After 4 sequels that nobody asked for, it's feeling like Adult Swim wants to try their darndest to make Fooly Cooly into a franchise, endlessly milking this IP with sequel after sequel. At some point, those 2 Fooly Cooly sequels that ChatGPT spit out for me are going to be very real, and they'll receive raving reviews such as, yeah, I mean, it's okay, and please, come on guys, just please give it a try, please. It's just unfortunate, really, because in a way, these sequels feel like they've sullied the name of Fooly Cooly, and when anyone thinks of Fooly Cooly nowadays, there's a bit of a groan that goes around as people think to the crummy sequels and the fact that the rights of the property aren't in the hands of the people that it should have gone to from the beginning. Now, I usually try to end these videos with a bit of a positive note, but I'm gonna be real, I genuinely can't see things ever getting better for Fooly Cooly. The rights will very well never land back with Kara where they rightfully belong, and will most likely keep getting sequel after sequel until the sun eventually explodes. But, if anything, if you're one of the lucky few watching that somehow hasn't watched the original Fooly Cooly, then I implore you to one night soon, grab some popcorn, get a Crystal Pepsi, and sit down for an absolutely bombastic and fun 2 hours, watching the crazy antics of the main cast, rocking out to the pillows, and getting lost in the quieter moments, because with Fooly Cooly, it's okay to feel stupid. And remember, there are no Fooly Cooly sequels. Thanks for watching the video. What are your thoughts on the Fooly Cooly sequels, and when did you first watch the original show? Leave a comment letting me know. And while you're at it, why not leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos about anime, manga, VTubers, and even some animations I've done. It helps me out a ton. And, with all being said and done, I'll see you bodacious buccaneers next time. Kitty kitty meow.